Hey everyone, my name is Dr. Lebahang Maritila. Grab your coffee, sit down. We need to talk, man. We need to talk about this AI thing. This AI stuff is just everywhere now, isn't it? You just turn around and there is news story and another app, someone else talking about artificial intelligence. It can make you feel a bit lost, like, hang on, where did all this come from? Am I falling behind? Trust me, if you feel like that, you are definitely not the only one. It's easy to feel a bit left out when something blows up like this. You hear all these fancy words like amazing things happening, and you just think, wait, did I miss this beginning? How am I supposed to catch up? But seriously, don't stress. You haven't missed as much as you think. And understanding the basic, it's really not that complicated. So that's what this series is all about. Decoding AI, a conversation with me, yours truly, Dr. Lebahang Maritila. Think of it like you and me just chatting, figuring this thing out together right from the start. No heavy books, no confusing talk. Just breaking it down nicely and simply. Sound good? Cool. Let's jump right in. Alright, so the big question first. What is this artificial intelligence? This AI that everyone keeps going on about? Okay, first thing, forget the crazy movie robots for a minute. Yeah, the ones taking over the world, that's movie. What AI is really about, deep down, is a simple question. Can we get computers to think or learn kind of like more how we humans do? Did you get that? The simple question, can we get computers to think or learn like how we do as humans? Think about how you figure things out. You see stuff, you learn, you recognize your friends, you understand what people are saying, you make choices based on what you know. AI is basically the big effort to get computers to get those kinds of things too. Like, imagine teaching your phone not just to hold your photos, but to actually know which ones have your dog in them. Or getting your computers to understand when you ask it a question, like properly understand, not just follow a command. Or maybe getting an app, look at the traffic and tell you the quickest way home, even if things change on the road. That's the kind of stuff AI tries to do. It's about making computer programs, software, smart enough to handle jobs that usually would need a human brain. Could be understanding language, spotting patterns, like finding weird transactions in your bank account, making decisions, recommending stuff you might like, all sorts of things. It's intelligence just made by people, running on a machine, artificial. Now you might be thinking, okay, sounds pretty advanced. This must be pretty new, right? Like from the last few years? Makes sense, because we hear about it so much now. But the actual idea of smart machines, it goes way, way back, much further than you'd probably guess. People have been dreaming about making artificial life or smart things for ages. Think of old stories about magical statues or whatever. But the proper scientific chase for AI, that really started getting serious around the 50s. Just as the first big electronic computers were starting to be built. Even back then, some seriously smart people were already thinking about the machines that could think, One really important guy was Alan Turing. You'll hear this word quite a bit. Alan Turing. You might have heard his name, I don't know. The British mathematician, super clever guy. Back in the 50s, he wrote this paper asking a massive question: can machines think? And he came up with a famous idea called the Turing test. You must just, when you have a moment, Google it. The Turing test. Basically, it was like a game. Could a computer chat with a person so well that the person couldn't tell if they were talking to another human or the machine? If the machine could fool the person, Turing said, maybe we should say it's thinking. It really got people debating what intelligence even is. Guys like Turing were laying the groundwork, thinking about what computers could do, but this whole idea needed a proper name. And that brings us to a really key moment, the summer of 1956. Get this, a bunch of the top brains at the time, scientists, mathematicians, engineers, they all gathered at this college, and I'm gonna butcher this name, Dartmouth College. I don't know if I get the name right, but it's a college in America. It wasn't just a quick meeting. They planned to spend weeks together brainstorming this wild new idea. The guys who set it up, names like John McCarthy, Mervyn Minsky, those guys, they all, and the others, I must say, they all came together and they became like superstars in the field. They had this incredibly bold plan. They basically said, we think we can figure out exactly how learning works, how thinking works, all of it. And once we know the recipe, we can write instructions to make a computer do it too. Just think how ambitious that sounds, eh? They really believed they could crack the code of the human mind and build it into a machine. Amazing confidence, right? Now, while planning this big workshop, John McCarthy needed a good name for this new area where they were inventing this new thing. He wanted something clear, something new. He came up with artificial intelligence, and that name stuck. So that meeting at Dartmouth in 56, that's the moment everyone points to as to the official start of AI as its own field of science. It got the main players together, set out the big dream, and gave it the name we still use today. Can you imagine the excitement back then? They had these new computers, huge, slow things compared to now, of course, but still, they were computers. They had the ideas, the math. It must have felt like anything was possible. A lot of those guys were super optimistic, man. They honestly thought they'd have machines as smart as humans in maybe just, say, 20 years or so. They dreamed of computers that could chat naturally, translate language instantly, solve super hard problems, maybe even learn and get better all by themselves. Now, here's the reality check. It didn't happen quite that fast. Turns out, building real intelligence, even copying just parts of it, is unbelievably difficult. Human thinking, language, learning, just knowing basic stuff about the world, it's incredibly complex. The road wasn't easy. There were times when progress felt slow, times when money for research even dried up. They call those the AI winters. Well, we'll chat about that in the future. But that first spark, that meeting in 1956, that was so important. It set the whole thing in motion. It inspired people for decades. It was the very beginning of the journey that leads right up to the AI we see all around us today. So, there you have it. That's the start of the story. Not too scary, right? Just a big question. Can machines think? Some smart people asking, and a meeting that gave it all a name: artificial intelligence. The main thing to remember for today is simple. AI didn't just pop up overnight. No. It started a long time ago with people being curious about how intelligence works and if we could build it. Now, I bet you're thinking, okay, that's the history bit. But what did they actually do then? Did they manage to build anything smart straight away? What were the first steps like? Good question. And that's exactly what we'll get into next time. We'll look at some of the first AI programs they tried to build, the problems they ran into, and the first little steps towards making machines that would actually learn. How's that for our next chat? Cool. So, just to quickly nail down what we covered today. Firstly, AI is basically about getting computers to do tasks that actually need human intelligence. Secondly, the idea is so old, but Alan Turing really pushed the question, can machines think? This was in the 50s. Thirdly, the name artificial intelligence came from John McCarthy for the Dartmouth workshop in 1956. The fourth thing, the workshop is seen as the official birth of AI as a science. And maybe the last, they were super hopeful at the start, but realized building AI was going to be a massive challenge. Make sense? Awesome. You officially started decoding AI. Well done. So catch you on the next one. And just before we go, this episode was made possible by Kokae. Kokae is a mobile app that lets you find music and comedy events near you. Just download it on Apple and Google Play stores. It's free of charge. You can search for your favorite comedian, favorite musician, and find out which events they're going to be partaking in or doing. So yeah, Kokae, we love you, man. Thank you for this episode. I'll talk to you guys next time. Cheerio.